A waitress, a billionaire mob boss, a single moment that shattered both their worlds forever. She didn't know his name, she didn't know his power. All she knew was a child was about to get hurt, so she threw herself into the glass. Every single shard, for a stranger's son. He watched her bleed, and instead of walking away, he said, "You belong to me now. What happens when the most dangerous man in the city decides you are worth keeping? Welcome to a channel where power meets vulnerability, where mafia kings, unexpected love, and the unbreakable bonds of family collide in stories that will leave you breathless." This story reminds us that a single act of selfless courage can rewrite your entire destiny, even if it leads you somewhere you never expected to go. If that opening gave you chills, you are exactly where you belong. Hit subscribe, drop a comment telling us, would you have jumped? And share this with someone who loves a story that hits different.
The noise of this place was a constant irritation, a dull hum of empty conversations and the clinking of silverware. I endured it for one reason: my son. He deserved moments of normalcy, even if I had to build them inside a fortress of my own design. Every person in this room was accounted for: the staff, the diners, the man pretending to read a newspaper by the door. All pieces on a board I controlled. My world was one of order, of strength, a place where my boy could be safe. I watched him, this perfect small version of myself, and felt the familiar tightness in my chest. It was not love as poets describe it. It was a fierce, consuming fire, a duty that eclipsed all others. To protect him, I would burn the world. This was my purpose, my righteousness. Matteo pushed his small car across the table. A quiet engine sound escaped his lips. The sound cut through the restaurant's pretense, a pure note in a symphony of lies. I allowed a small smile. These moments were rare. These moments were everything. My gaze drifted past him to a waitress. She moved like a phantom, unremarkable, a necessary cog in the machinery of this place. I dismissed her from my thoughts. The business at hand required my focus. Men like these did not meet for pleasure. They met for power, for the quiet exchange of threats and promises that kept our world turning. But a flicker of movement drew my eye. Another waitress, clumsy, off balance. My senses sharpened. Any deviation from the pattern is a potential threat, any weakness a potential breach. I saw it happen in fractions of a second, the heel catching, the tray tipping, a cascade of crystal, lethal and beautiful, arcing toward my son. The world went silent. All I could see was the glass. All I could feel was a cold, absolute dread that threatened to stop my heart. My life was dedicated to preventing this exact moment, the one variable I could not control, the random, stupid chaos of the world reaching for my son. I had failed. My men had failed. In that instant, all my power, all my control, was meaningless. The universe was laughing at me. But then something impossible happened. The phantom moved. The invisible waitress, the cog in the machine, suddenly broke from her pattern. The air in that place was always thick with weakness. My men stood guard, sharp and loyal, a wall against the soft world. Beside me, the boy played. He needed to understand this life, see the predators, see the prey. Then, a flicker of chaos from the next table. A clumsy waitress, a tray of champagne. I saw the trajectory. The glass would rain down on him. A pathetic, meaningless accident. My muscles coiled. I would move, I would shield him. It was my duty, my right. But before my world could correct itself, something else moved. A shadow, a woman, a nobody. She moved with a purpose I did not expect. A primal, foolish courage. She threw herself forward, a fragile barrier of flesh. The pitcher she held shattered. Water splashed against the marble floor. She covered the boy with her own body. A shield, an offering. The crystal descended upon her, a storm of glittering shards. I heard the impacts, sharp, wet sounds, the tearing of cloth, the breaking of skin. Champagne and blood bloomed across her back, her uniform turned crimson. The boy cried beneath her, his fear muffled by her sacrifice. I watched her absorb every piece of broken glass, every single blow, and I felt not pity, I felt recognition. This was strength, this was value. Then, silence. The storm was over. My world snapped back into focus. First, the asset. I moved toward my son, my hand resting on his head. He was shaking, but whole. I pulled him close, the fatherly gesture a mask for the cold assessment underneath. He was unharmed. The shield had performed its function perfectly. Now for the shield itself. I knelt beside her. Her breathing was shallow, blood stained the back of her cheap uniform. I saw the fear in her eyes when she finally looked up. Good. Fear is a start. Fear is a language everyone understands. I needed to know what this was. A plan? A coincidence? An opportunity? My voice was low, controlled. In my world, control is everything. I looked at her face, truly looked for the first time. It was pale, ordinary, but her eyes held a spark, a defiance, the kind of strength that cannot be bought, only broken. The glass in her shoulder was a gruesome decoration. It made my anger rise, a cold, clean fire. Not for her pain, but for the flaw in my security, for the sloppiness that had allowed this to happen. I am Dante Moretti. My son does not bleed. My protectors do not bleed on my watch unless I command it. This was an insult. One that would be answered. She was an unknown quantity, but she had value. Immense value. Her pain was an investment, and I always protect my investments. Her name was now a piece of information I required. She gave me her name. Elena. She told me she heard me say my son's name. A simple explanation. Plausible. My son then spoke. His small voice, full of awe, sealed her fate. Papa, she saved me. He reached for her. An instant bond. A connection I could never have orchestrated. Trust. He trusted her. In my world, trust is rarer than diamonds and far more valuable. She was no longer just a shield. She was now a guardian, a protector my heir had chosen himself. I saw the path forward with perfect clarity. She would not be discarded. She would not be rewarded and sent away. She would be kept. She would be secured. This was the only logical response. I said my name, a key turning in a lock. I watched her face. I watched the faces of everyone else. The fear, the recognition, the sudden, suffocating respect. This is the true nature of power. Not wealth, not violence, but the weight of a name that changes the rules of any room it enters. Her name, Elena, was now linked to mine. I said it to taste it, to claim it. It belonged to me now, just as she did. She was a debt owed to my son, and I would be the one to decide the terms of payment. The manager was already scurrying over, his face a mask of terror. Everything was falling back into its proper order. My order. Her attempt to stand was amusing, as if she could simply walk back to her old life. That life was a shattered glass on the floor. My man Marco appeared. He knew what to do without being told. My doctor, my estate, my world. She spoke of hospitals and insurance, the words of a commoner, the concepts of a world I had left behind long ago. I was offering her sanctuary. I was offering her purpose. She did not yet understand the gift I was giving her. She was a stray animal who had proven her loyalty. It was now my duty to give her a collar and a home, to protect her from the chaos she had saved my son from. It was only right. You saved my son. I said the words for all to hear. Let them understand. This is how the Moretti family operates. We honor our debts. We reward loyalty. But my words were not gratitude. They were a contract. Her old life, her plans, her freedom. They were the price of her heroism. I was not taking her life. I was giving her a new one, a better one with meaning, one tied to me. I pay my debts. This was the absolute truth of my existence. And this debt, this woman, this Elena, was now my responsibility, my asset, my property. I looked at her terror and saw only confusion. She would learn. Behind me, Matteo smiled at his new protector. The board was reset, my world was secure, and I had done the right thing. His interest was a form of ownership. I extended my hand, a simple command. Her eyes fixed on it, on the watch, the ring. She understood. Taking it was an irreversible act. She had no real choice. She threw herself into my world. Now my world would close around her. She placed a trembling hand in mine. My fingers tightened. The lock clicked shut. The cage was secured. The air in my car is controlled, sterile. She brought the scent of blood and fear into it. Her former job was a memory. She bled on their marble. Her old life was over. I watched her in the back seat. My son Matteo pressed against her. He was safe. That was the only thing that mattered. I kept my focus on her. A new variable in my life. An unexpected complication. My man, Marco, drove with quiet purpose. His eyes checked the mirror, reading the situation. Luca, my other man, spoke on the phone. His Italian was fast, efficient. I heard the important words. The girl. The boy. An accident. Does it hurt? My son's voice was small. A little. Her answer was a lie. Her back was ruined. But she was strong for him. I needed that strength, to show him protection is real, that I would provide it always. My price is absolute. She would learn that soon. You are very brave, Matteo said. His eyes were like mine. They see everything. Like a hero. He asked her if she was a hero. No, just a waitress, I corrected her. With excellent instincts. My voice cut the air. And poor self-preservation. My eyes never left her. Most people run. They look away. Why did you not? The question was a scalpel. I needed to know what moved her, what made her tick. I had to find the lever to control her. He is a child. Her voice was quiet. The truth. A simple, predictable truth. It was enough. I saw a flicker of something. Not surprise. Just data. Do you have children? No. The word was hard, filled with a private pain. No children. No family. Just you. I repeated her reality back to her. It was not a sad thing. It was an opportunity. No one will worry. The question was a statement. I will be late with rent. A peasant's worry. Your rent is paid. I sent the message. For the next year. It is a debt. My debt. My mouth was dry. She could not speak. Irrelevant. I put the phone away. My gaze held her. You took glass meant for my son. No amount of money could balance that. But I would try. Your bills are handled. Your job is gone. You are on indefinite leave, with full pay. I am being fired. Her translation was bitter. You are being protected. My voice was smooth steel. The incident was not an accident. Someone tried to hurt my son. You stood between them. Now they will see you, as a partner, or a witness. Both are positions of danger. Fear cut through her pain. It was a useful tool. Your armor is gone, I told her. Your quiet life has ended. Everyone saw you save him. They will know your name, your face, your connection to me. I cannot give you back your old life. I can only give you my protection. The choice is not really a choice. She had to be smart enough to take it. The car passed through the gates. My fortress. My home. A place of manicured hedges and hidden cameras. Stone and glass and power. She was being brought inside the walls. I do not understand. She whispered it. Her old life was a ghost. Her worries were small things. Tips, rent, a broken machine. Now she was in a car with me, with someone who owes you. I finished her thought. And I always pay my debts. The car stopped. A doctor waited with his bag. Marco opened her door. Her legs were weak. The adrenaline was gone, only pain remained. I was there instantly, my arm around her waist, a gesture of support, a gesture of ownership. She smelled the danger on me, the power. It is a part of who I am. I can walk. Her protest was a whisper. Humor me. My breath was close to her hair. Her body knew the truth. It recognized the power. Even through the pain, she felt it. Inside, the house was a statement. Marble and dark wood, art that cost fortunes. Ani, my housekeeper, appeared. Her eyes saw the blood, the damage. Matteo is fine, I said. This is Elena. She saved him. I led her down the hall. The doctor followed. Prepare the blue guest room. She will be staying with us. For a long time. No, I cannot. Panic finally broke her control. You have lacerations. You have glass in your back. You have shock. I listed the facts. You need care. You need rest. Argue tomorrow. I placed her on the edge of the bed. The sheets were clean and expensive. The doctor approached. I did not leave. I leaned against the wall. I crossed my arms. I watched. I must remove her shirt, the doctor said. Her face flushed, a useless modesty. I will turn around. I lied. I would not leave. I would not look away. The ruined uniform came off. I saw the sharp intake of breath from the doctor. He probed the wounds gently. I watched her fight the pain. 15 lacerations. The doctor's report was for me. 3 pieces of glass remain. She is lucky. None are vital. She will have scars. Make them minimal. My voice was flat. Rage was a cold stone inside me. My property was damaged. Whatever you need. The doctor understood. This will hurt, he warned her. I saw her grip the bed. She prepared for the pain. I moved without a sound. My warm fingers wrapped around hers. My hand consumed hers. Look at me, I commanded. Not at him. At me. Our eyes met. I needed to be her anchor, her entire world in that moment. As the doctor began, I began my work. Tell me about yourself, Elena Santos. My voice was a soft probe. My thumb drew circles on her hand. A distraction, an interrogation. Here. The first piece of glass came out. Born in the city. Parents dead. Alone. Every word was a confirmation. She was perfect. A ghost with no ties. Pulled from her by the pain. Made safe by my touch. What did you want? The question was a formality. Her wants were no longer part of the equation. I watched her try to hide the pain. This was a necessary kindness. A small price for the purity she had shown. I asked her a question, wanting her to see past the monster. We all want to matter, I said. We just go about it differently. I built an empire on fear and calculation. She had saved a child with a single thoughtless act of courage. Which do you think history will judge more kindly? Her near laugh was a flicker of light in the darkness. I was not asking for judgment. I was asking for sight, for her to truly see me. I see you, Elena. The words were more true than she knew. A discovery. A rare and perfect thing in a world of tarnished goods. My world. And now, she was marked by it, just as I was marked by her. The doctor finished his work. His name was Antonio, but he was just a tool. Keep them clean and dry. His instructions were irrelevant. I would ensure her healing myself. She won't be going anywhere. The words were a promise, a statement of fact. My home was now her fortress, her cage. I thanked Antonio, a polite dismissal. Marco would see him out. He packed his bag and vanished. Then there was only her, sitting on my bed, wearing the remnants of her old life. She looked so exposed, so vulnerable, so utterly mine. I went to the dresser, my mind already working. She needed to be remade, dressed in my world. The silk was a fine weave, worth more than everything she owned. Arms up, a simple command. Her defiance was expected. I can dress myself, but I would not be denied this. Indulge me. I knelt before her, a king paying tribute. My fingers guided her arms into the sleeves. I wanted to feel the warmth of her skin, to breathe her in. The buttons were an excuse. Each brush of my knuckles was a brand, a claim. Why are you doing this? Her whisper was fragile. She did not understand the value of her own actions, the beautiful, reckless purity of it. Because you jumped. It was the simplest, most profound truth in my entire life. No hesitation, no calculation. In a world of strategists, she was an act of raw instinct, a selfless act for my son. How could I not care? How could I ever let her go? This world was not her own. She was right. I don't belong in this world, but she would learn. I would teach her, my rules, my expectations. She could never disappoint me. You already exceeded every expectation by breathing. My hand on her face was an anchor, to hold her here. In this new reality I was forging for her. Sleep now. It was an order disguised as comfort. Tonight, you're safe. I left her then, closing the door on my most prized possession. Safety in my world was absolute. It was a gilded cage. And the most beautiful thing was that she did not yet understand the strength of the bars. She would, in time. I received the report at dawn. She had slept for 13 hours. Good. Her body was healing. Then came the predictable panic. Her job, her old life, meaningless distractions I had already erased. Marcus would be furious. Let him be. Her place was here now. I had Agnes interrupt her spiral. A soft knock, a gentle voice. The first step in her reconditioning. I had chosen Agnes for her quiet efficiency. She brought the tray, coffee, fruit, a small taste of the life that was now hers, a life of comfort, of security, provided entirely by me. Agnes delivered my message perfectly. The doctor would return. And then, the wardrobe. Let her see the scope of my resources, my intent. I had my people work all night, every detail attended to, her size, her style, or what I imagined it to be. A blank canvas I could now paint. Mr. Moretti is very efficient. Agnes knew her role. She was to show Elena that my will was absolute, that I could move mountains for what I wanted, and I wanted her. I wanted to strip away her old life until only the person I chose remained. Agnes told me the boy was taken with her. Matteo has good instincts. He recognizes purity, just as I do. I waited, giving her time to process, to stare at the clothes, to eat the food, to feel the weight of her new reality. I knew she would think of running. It is the instinct of a captured thing. But I had already planted the seeds of fear. My words from the night before. Someone wanted to hurt my son. I made sure she understood that the world outside was infinitely more dangerous than the world within these walls. I was not her captor. I was her savior. She simply had to accept it. I saw her in the hallway, dressed in my clothes, a perfect fit. It was a deep, possessive satisfaction. She looked lost, but Agnes was there to guide her. My house, my rules, my servants, all at her disposal. She arrived at my study. I was on a call, handling a problem with brutal finality. I let her see a glimpse of the man whose cage she now occupied. The clipped, dangerous Italian. Then I saw her. And the world shifted. I hung up. Nothing else mattered. Elena. I came around the desk, a predator approaching something precious, to assess her, to own her with my gaze. She felt like a pincushion. Her small attempt at defiance was endearing. I acknowledged her resilience, her strength. I studied how the clothes I chose for her fit, the way she protected her injuries, my injuries. You shouldn't have. Her protest was expected, predictable. We've already established I pay my debts. This was a language she would come to understand. Transactions, value. She had performed an act of infinite value. This was merely the first installment. Sit. We need to talk. I watched her move, every motion a testament to the pain she endured for my son. For me, I laid the facts before her like cards on a table. It wasn't an accident. I gave her the details. Sophie. The phone call. The distraction. I needed her to see the intricate, ugly web she had stumbled into. The glasses were meant for chaos, to draw my men from Mateo. My jaw tightened at the thought, at the failure of my security. But they did not anticipate you. She was the random variable, the beautiful, unexpected miracle. Who would want to hurt a child? Her innocence was staggering. Many people want to hurt me. I let the weariness show in my eyes. A calculated vulnerability. I made her my confidant, my ally. She asked about the woman. Sophie. She has been questioned. A simple statement for a complex and brutal process. The man who threatened her would be found. His fate was already sealed. But that is not your concern. Her concern was singular. She needed to understand her new position. By inserting yourself into this situation, you have become part of it. They know your face. They know your name. I watched the fear dawn in her eyes. It was necessary. Her naive protest was almost painful to hear, because it was the right thing to do. So pure, so breakable. And I would never let this world break her. I would simply keep her, safe, here, with me, forever. Her goodness is the problem. I see it in her eyes. It is a flaw in this world I have built from steel and shadow. It makes her a wild card, a liability. And yet, it makes her invaluable. She looks at me like I am a monster, and I hate that I care. She asks what she is. A prisoner, a piece on my board. She is whatever I decide she will be. For now, she is under my protection. That is the only truth that matters. How long? Her voice is a spark of defiance. I give her the only answer I have. As long as it takes. Then Marco enters. The world outside intrudes. The Calabresis want a meeting. A foolish, desperate move. The softness vanishes. It has to. The man who buttoned her shirt cannot be the one who rules this city. He must be buried. Cold replaces him. I give the order. Neutral ground. Their claims of innocence are predictable lies. Peace is a word for the weak. I will meet them. 8 o'clock. My mind races through precautions, kill zones, exit strategies. My gaze finds her. An asset that must be secured. 100 yards. No one gets near her. Or my son. Marco hesitates. Move her. The thought is logical, but wrong. They do not know about her. Not yet. Secrecy is my best weapon. She stays where only I can reach her. She is still there when Marco is gone, watching me, judging me. Her question is naive. You are going to meet them. I correct her. I am going to see what they want me to believe. Truth is a currency they cannot afford. Traps must be sprung to be disarmed. I move toward her, forcing her to look up, to see the reality of her situation. I will use my son to control her. Stay with him. It is a command disguised as a request. She nods. She understands obedience. I will be at a meeting, and you will be locked in this house. You will trust me. My fingers touch her jaw. A claim. A warning. I will not let anything happen to you. I mean it. She saved what is mine. Now she is mine. The word hangs in the air between us. She does not understand my world. Here, debts are paid in flesh and loyalty. She denies it. I am not yours. The tremor in her voice is a victory. Not yet. I let my thumb trace her lip. A promise of possession. You sealed your fate when you chose my son over yourself. You belong to me now. Resisting is pointless. It is only a matter of time. I leave her with that truth. A chain of words to bind her while I am gone. The scent of my victory will linger long after I have left. I know my son will find her. He is a part of my plan. He will tether her to this house, to me. His innocence is a weapon I will use without shame. He will ask her to stay forever. He will talk about dragons. He will show her a world away from the blood and the lies. Her smile, which I imagine, will be genuine. It is a weakness I can exploit. She will show him kindness. She will let him draw her into his world. A world I pay for in violence every single day. He will anchor her. He will make her want to stay in this beautiful gilded cage I have built. She will tell him about her life. Lies, of course. Gentle edits to hide the harsh edges of her loneliness. He will ask about her mother. He will find a common wound. My own son, making her feel at home in our shared grief. He gets sad. The boy knows me too well. He will ask her to be a mother. A child's simple, devastating logic. He will say he needs her forever. Because she is nice. Because she saved him. Every word is another thread, binding her to us. She will hug him. A small, innocent boy. In that moment, she will understand me. She will see why I would burn this world to ash for him. She will see the echo of her own sacrifice. Some souls require protection. He is one. But she will wonder if she can survive my protection, my dark sun. She will look out at my beautiful prison. The armed men are my love language. She will see the cage. And God help her, she will no longer want the key. As night falls, my world prepares for war. She puts my son to bed. She reads him stories, fills his head with knights and dragons, while I prepare to become the monster. She watches from the window. I feel her eyes on me. A pull, a connection I did not ask for, but will not relinquish. I am the predator, the king, dressed in the color of night. My purpose is clear. My will is absolute. I look up. I find her instantly. Across the manicured lawn, through the reinforced glass. I meet her gaze. I raise my hand. It is not a farewell. It is a vow, a command I will return. I slide into the vehicle. The door seals with a heavy thud. She is gone from my sight. My mind shifts entirely to the enemy, the Calabreses, their motives, their weaknesses. I dissect every possibility. The house, the woman, my son. They are secured. They are pieces on the board I have already moved into place. Now, I focus on the other players. I let my mind drift to the poetry I have read. Love and war, two sides of the same brutal coin. A phone buzzes somewhere. It is not mine. It means nothing to me. My world has narrowed to a single point, the meeting. My enemies think they can be clever. They will talk of peace while hiding knives. A familiar dance. They think a waitress is a complication. An invisible girl. They do not understand. She is not a complication. She is a claim. A piece of my territory. They think they can whisper threats in the dark. They speak of disappearance, as if they invented the concept, as if I have not erased men from existence for lesser insults. They think protection can fail. They are about to learn what happens when you threaten what is mine. The line goes dead. My own phone remains silent. I am a fortress. Nothing gets in. My promises are absolute. Nothing will happen to her. The door to my vehicle does not burst open. No one screams my name. Marco does not come for me. The situation is under my control. He is with the boy. Everything is fine. The threat is in front of me, at a warehouse, not behind me. I move through the night. My focus is a laser. The command center is my mind. The guards are my will. I am the only protection that matters. The world holds its breath, and I am the reason. The target. It was a beautiful symphony of chaos. I watched it all unfold on my monitors. Every move was a note I had written. His men were scattered. His convoy was blind. And his son's little guardian was about to become the instrument of his ruin. The meeting was a lie. Calibers was a ghost we invented to lure the devil from his den. Now, All that remained was the final piece. I dialed the number. The girl, Miss Santos. A complication, an unforeseen variable that had become the perfect bait. She thought it was a wrong number, a simple mistake. But nothing is a mistake tonight. Everything is a correction, a balancing of the scales. Her phone was a beacon, a direct line into the heart of his fortress. It was time to collect. We moved through the darkness like ghosts. His fortress was a monument to his arrogance, high walls and watchful cameras. But every system has a flaw. Every king has a traitor. I saw my men on the infrared feed. They were disciplined. They were precise. Each one of them was a ghost from a life Moretti had destroyed. They moved with a purpose he could never understand. This was not about money. It was about justice. The south perimeter was the weak point, just as my source had promised. 4 men. It was all we needed. We were not there to lay siege. We were there for one person. The king was safe in his castle. We knew that. Locked behind steel and codes, he was never the target. Not yet. First, he needed to feel what it was to be helpless, to have something precious taken. My man on the inside cut the power. A beautiful, simple act. The red emergency lights painted the world in blood. It was fitting. My earpiece crackled with reports. They were moving her, just as planned. They were running right to us. You cannot protect what is already lost. Her fear was a distant echo. The traitor had earned his pay. Now, the real work began. The tunnel was a tomb. They thought it was an escape. It was just another corridor in my maze. My men were in position at the exit. The concrete walls muffled the sounds of their frantic retreat. They could hear the gunfire above. Closer now. They could smell the smoke. I could almost taste their desperation. He would be coming. Of course he would. Driving like a madman to save his new prize. But 10 minutes is a lifetime when the world is ending. The garage door was their final hope, the last breath before the plunge, and we were waiting. The explosion was perfect, a shower of steel and dust. My men emerged from the smoke. They were not men. They were judgment. The gunfire was loud in the enclosed space, a beautiful, violent music. His guards were good, but they were fighting for a paycheck. My men were fighting for vengeance. I saw my chance, a clean line. I moved past the chaos and grabbed her. The wrong hand, the wrong grip. She knew it instantly. I pressed the cold steel of my pistol to her head. A hush fell over the garage. Stop shooting or she dies. Marco, the loyal dog. His face was a mask of fury. He did not understand. He thought this was a negotiation. Moretti is dead, or will be soon, I told him. It was a promise. This girl was not a person. She was leverage, a key to unlock a monster's heart. The gun felt steady in my hand. Her life was a switch I could turn off. I saw the conflict in the guard's eyes. He was a soldier. He knew the cost. But he was also a servant. He would obey his master's will, even if it was foolish. Let them save the woman. Let them lose the war. It was the pride that I despised, the arrogance of men like Moretti. Drop your weapons, I commanded. His soldiers hesitated. But the girl, she was smarter. She pleaded with them. Her voice broke. She understood survival. The clatter of their guns on the concrete was the sound of my victory. I smiled. This was the beginning of the end. I made the call as the van pulled away. We have the girl. The words felt heavy, final. This was the turning point. Tell the boss we're bringing her to the warehouse. The warehouse by the docks. The place where it all went wrong so many years ago. It was poetic. He would come back to where he made his first great sin, where he built his empire on my family's bones. A laugh escaped my lips, cold and empty. Let us see what his son's savior is truly worth. Let us see if a monster can remember how to love something. Before we take that away too. She sat in the chair, quiet, Still, the vast emptiness of the warehouse seemed to swallow her. The air was thick with the ghosts of forgotten deals, of lives bought and sold. I had them tie her properly. No needless cruelty. I am not a savage. I am a purveyor of consequences. She was not a victim. She was a message. My men prepared. They knew he was coming. This was never about escape. It was about a final reckoning. Here, in this concrete tomb, a debt would be paid. The question was never if he would come. It was what he would become when he found there was nothing left to save. My boy, the young one with the scar, he spoke to her. I watched from the shadows. He saw her as a person, a mistake. He still had that softness in him. He still believed in things like innocence. Most people would be crying, he observed. She was not most people. She had a spine. Would it help? She asked. A fair question. He spoke of the Moretti kid, the act that made her famous in our world, jumping on glass, an animal instinct to protect the young. That is all it was, not nobility, not sacrifice, just instinct. She did not understand the world she had entered. He shouldn't have to pay for his father's sins. Her words echoed in the silence. The boy agreed. He was still naive. We all pay. That is the only rule. That is the lesson Moretti taught me. The boy thinks we are already dead. He is wrong. We are the ones who have finally begun to live. Because we are no longer afraid. We have accepted the price. He crushed his cigarette. He told her to talk, to give me up, to save herself. Futile. The main entrance exploded inward, not with tactics, but with rage. A storm had arrived, and I was waiting in its eye. Dante Moretti entered. He was everything the stories claimed. A force of nature, a furnace of controlled fury. His suit was torn, he was bleeding, but his eyes were fixed. Not on me, on her. He saw her, and for a second the mask slipped. The look was not about her safety, it was about his property. Mine. You have taken what is mine. I stepped out of the shadows. I let him see me. This was between kings. Moretti, I said. My voice was calm, steady. Glad you could join us, Russo. His voice was ice. He gave me a timeline. 30 seconds. He thought he was still in control. He had no idea. Model. This was a clean transaction. A simple exchange to protect what I had built. His dramatics were a tiresome flaw. Predictable. The girl was collateral, nothing more. My men had been clumsy, an unfortunate but necessary part of the acquisition. I offered an apology. 20 seconds. A ridiculous bit of theater. I was offering him a way out, a deal between two kings. He had information vital to my survival. The Calabrese family was strangling me. I give you the girl, you give me the data. Simple. 15 seconds. His men were tense, but that was their job. Mine were too. He was counting down my life, he said. Arrogant. He would not risk the girl for pride. Then the sound. A sharp crack that echoed off the concrete. My young guard, the one with the brow scar, collapsed. A neat, dark circle bloomed on his forehead. He had been foolish. He moved too soon. But Moretti had not even glanced his way. His eyes were cold steel, fixed on me. A gun was in his hand now. The barrel gave a faint wisp of smoke. 10 seconds. It was not a warning. It was a statement of intent. He said the next one was for me. For a moment, the world dissolved into noise and motion. My men drew their weapons. His men mirrored them. And the girl was in the middle of it all. I felt the ropes on her wrists must be tight. She tried to shrink, a futile gesture. There was nowhere to go. This man was truly mad. I moved behind her, my hand on her chair. A human shield, the only rational move left. He would kill her himself in the crossfire. A very good shot, he claimed. His smile was predatory, a flash of teeth and a promise of ruin. He spoke of her as a woman who saved his son. A piece of leverage. That is all she was. He said I had signed my own death warrant. My own man hesitated. I heard the fear in his voice. I told him to be silent. I pressed my own weapon to her temple. The cold metal felt firm, final. The move that always worked. The ultimate checkmate. I told them all to stand down. Time slowed. The air grew thick. I saw the muscles in Moretti's jaw twitch. I saw the cold math happening behind his gaze. He was weighing her life. He was calculating his losses. And then I saw his decision. His face said she was worth everything. His voice dropped, became almost calm. He told me I would not shoot her. He said if I did, there would be no deals. No mercy, no quick end for me. Quick end for Guy. He promised me days of pain, weeks even. He promised to dismantle my entire world while I watched. He spoke of my daughter, Sophia, in Milan. He would make her listen to my final moments. He spoke of my mother in her nursing home in Naples. He would fill her last days with the knowledge of my suffering. He was bluffing. He had to be. But then he stepped forward. His men moved as one, a pack of loyal wolves, perfectly trained. I knew his reputation. I knew his promises of pain were not empty threats. He delivered suffering with interest, and he asked me a question. Was the information I needed worth more than my entire world? I felt my hand begin to shake. The metal of the gun was slick against her skin. My certainty was cracking. I had made a terrible error. I thought he would trade a woman he just met. I did not understand. Some men operate outside of logic. Some men pay their debts with fire and blood. There was no strategy here, only a rage I had foolishly unleashed. "Stand down," I said. The words tasted like ash. I told all of them to lower their weapons. They obeyed slowly. The sound of steel being holstered echoed my defeat. I removed the gun from her head. I stepped away from her, my own hands raised in surrender. "She is yours," I said. It was not worth this, not for any information. I watched him cross the warehouse. I watched him kneel and cut her free. He was gentle, the same man who had just promised to destroy my family. "Are you hurt?" he asked her. His voice was soft, meant for her alone. "My back," she said. I heard her say she was okay. He helped her to her feet. His arm supported her when she swayed. He told her they would pay for her fear. Then his gaze found me again. The gentle man was gone. The monster was back. He told his man Marco to take her to the car, to call a doctor. No. The word came from her, from the girl. She wanted to see what he truly was. I saw something shift in his eyes. He seemed surprised. Perhaps he respected it. He told her she did not need to witness this. She insisted. She wanted to understand the world she had entered. She wanted the truth without any filters. She wanted to see all of it. He watched her for a long moment. I could see him thinking. Then he agreed. He told her to stay behind him. He turned back to me. His voice was judgment. He said I had touched what was his, that I had threatened what he protected. In any other world, this would mean my death, a slow and painful lesson for others. My blood ran cold. I started to plead, but he silenced me with a hand. He said I was smart enough to know when I had lost, and for that, I would receive a small mercy. I had to leave the city that night. Everything I owned was now his. Every deal, every dollar, every piece of my empire. Forfeited. My family would be safe. That was my only reward. But he stepped closer. His voice was a venomous whisper. He promised that if he ever saw me again, he would forget this moment of mercy. He would spend months teaching me what his mercy was truly worth. "Understood," he demanded. "Understood," I breathed. My empire was gone. Get out of my sight. I fled with what was left of my men. We scrambled from that warehouse, rats escaping a collapsing building. In moments, we were gone. The silence that followed was his victory. I was in the car, the city lights blurring past. The adrenaline was gone. It left behind an emptiness, an echo of the man I had been just hours ago. He should have just taken her to the car. He should have shielded her from it. I was driving. Away. Just driving. I saw my shaking hands on the wheel. I had miscalculated. That was my only crime. I played a game, and I lost. That is what I would tell myself. He was a man who kept his promises, a man who valued loyalty, a man who would destroy everything for his son, and for her. He considered her worth protecting. I still did not understand why. He said it was because she jumped, because she chose a child's life over her own, because she acted from the heart. He saw that as courage. I saw it as a weakness I could exploit. That was my mistake, my fatal miscalculation. I am not brave, she had whispered in the chaos. I had seen the terror in her eyes. Brave and terrified, he would probably tell her. The same thing. He would offer her a way out, a new life, a quiet, safe existence away from his darkness. I knew he would. It was in his strange code of honor. But she would not take it. I knew that too. Leaving him would feel like disappearing again. What if I want to stay? I could almost hear her ask it. Not as a prisoner, but as a choice, because for the first time she felt like she mattered. What if I want this? Want me? He would ask. And he would mean it. He wanted her. From the moment she threw herself onto that broken glass, she was essential to him now. He would warn her. His world is not kind. It breaks people. Once you are truly in, there is no escape. I thought of my own choices, the deals, the threats, the life I built to protect my own family. And then I thought of his fierce devotion, the way he looked at her, as if she was the only real thing in the world. I am sure, she would say, and she would mean it. I choose this. I choose you. And in that moment, I understood. I had not lost to a better strategist. I had lost to a man who had found something more valuable than any empire. This was mine. I told her so in the quiet dark of the warehouse. You belong to me now, Elena Santos. You have proven your worth. I provide for what is mine. I kissed her. It was a brand, a claim staked in the scent of steel and fear. It was the taste of a truth she was only just beginning to learn. I owned her future now. Her safety was my decree. I rested my forehead on hers. We are going home, not my house. Home, a word I redefined for her, a place she would now occupy in my world. She had stumbled into my path. She had passed a test she did not know she was taking. Fate is not gravity, it is a cage I build. I led her away, my arm a chain around her waist. The waitress who served others was gone. In her place was a woman who served me. A woman who mattered because I had decided she mattered. The cost was her blood, her fear, her freedom, a small price to pay for my protection. I settled her into the seat. My hand covered hers, a promise of gentle ownership. I would do this again. I would break her again to remake her in my image. Some cages are a kindness, some monsters are saviors. Her debt to me was absolute. It could only be paid with total loyalty. Forever. 3 months passed. I watched her from the doorway of my study. Our study. Snow fell outside, burying the world in white. Her scars were faint silver lines on her back. My marks. The boy's laughter echoed through my house. He called her Elena Mama. Her heart was full, a heart I permitted to beat. I came up behind her. My arms encircled her waist. My chin rested on her shoulder. I asked what she was thinking. Her life was so different. She leaned into my hold. She believed she had found safety in my arms. She once craved invisibility. But now she wanted to be seen. By me. I am the right person, am I not? My voice was soft. The question was a formality. I had made it true. She turned to face me. Her eyes met mine. You are the only one, Dante. The words were a vow, the final lock turning in the cage I had built for her. I sealed her promise with a kiss that tasted of eternity. The snow fell. The world outside was cold and random, but in here, everything was mine. Everything was warm. She believed she saved a child, and in doing so, saved herself. A lovely story. But I knew the truth. I saved her. I gave her life meaning. Our story is not about tragedy or triumph. It is about my will. I wove our lives from darkness and from light, from violence and from tenderness. She would never change a single scar. They were my gift to her. A beautiful reminder that she belonged to me. This content was carefully researched, developed, and manually edited by our team to deliver meaningful stories with valuable life lessons. Every narrative is crafted to entertain, inspire, and empower our audience. We believe that great stories can change lives, and we are committed to bringing you content that matters. Thank you for being part of our community.